elementary kids and parents. It is Wednesday night and we are kicking off the second semester of the school year here at the Spark. It does look a little bit different from what we had planned on tonight, but we are going to make the most of it, and I'm thankful that we get to do this online. We are going to go ahead and introduce this month's virtue, which is self-control, and we're going to introduce that first of all with an episode of The Adventures of Joy and Ian. So here you go.
Hi, Pilar.
Hi.
I'm just working on something here.
Okay.
I've been reading my book, and I am now writing my grievances to my union representative from Spark.
Okay.
Part of my New Year's resolution.
What book are you reading?
Reading this one.
Anger Management for Doofuses?
Yeah, that's the one. It's part of my New Year's resolution.
Wow.
Working on some stuff over here.
I never thought of you as having like anger problems or anything.
Are you kidding me? I have lots of issues, Joy. I have everything people do drive me crazy. I have these pet peeves, you know? And like annoying things that people do, they don't even realize that they're doing it. It absolutely causes you to go bonkers.
I mean, everyone has pet peeves or things that bother them. That doesn't mean you have anger issues, though. I don't like chewing gum.
It does, Joy. Let me show you. I brought in a few. Here's one of my favorites. Pet peeves. When kids come to Spark, they got their mouth full of gum. Well, do you like a piece of gum, Joy?
No, thank you.
Those are my pet peeves.
Oh, well.
Kids are chewing too much gum. They can't understand what they're saying. They're smacking their lips. They're blowing bubbles like that. I'm telling you, Joy, it just drives me nuts.
I can understand.
Yeah, that's my number one pet peeve.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wrote that down for my union rep. And then, my next one, hold your fingers like this, Joy.
My fingers.
About 2 inches apart. This is my other pet peeve. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That makes me really, really upset. So, I get ticked off. People, I come into the bathroom and the toilet paper is, what did you do? It's exactly what I hate. Why are you hiding the tail underneath when the tail should be over top? That's the way so you can find it. You can find the tail. Oh, that drives me crazy.
I can see that, but we're not going to solve this debate because that's a personal choice. So let's move on to your next pet peeve.
All right. Well, my next one's really, really good too. Man, this is like when you go to the store and you go to buy a pair of scissors. Oh yeah, please explain to me why when you go buy a pair of scissors, they put it in plastic wrap that can only be opened by a pair of scissors, which I don't have because I'm buying it at the store. I mean, how else am I supposed to get in there? I am not Edward Scissorhands, thank you very much. I'm telling you what.
I can understand because that's something I'd be frustrated with too, but we're not going to be able to solve that. The company makes the scissors. They're not going to change their mind.
Got some serious pet peeves here, Joy. That's why I'm reading this book. It makes me so mad.
You can't help that you get annoyed or mad, but what you can help is how you behave when you're upset or angry. It's all about self-control.
Kind of is like our self-control virtue, isn't it?
Yes. Speaking of virtues, our virtue this month right now is, choosing to do the right thing even when you don't want to.
Self-control.
Exactly.
I should be listening more to you, Joy. And here at Spark, instead of reading this book on anger management, I'm telling you, I really have a hard time understanding this stuff.
Let me see it. Let me see if I
Yeah,
can.
it's hard to read.
Well, probably the reason it's hard to read is because it's actually written in German.
Oh, now it makes sense. I mean, that doesn't make sense. Makes sense why I didn't understand it because I don't read German. So now that makes sense. Although it doesn't make sense if I'm trying to read it. But it makes sense what you just said.
Yeah, and speaking about pet peeves,
It's really time to get that gum taken to the trash can. I'm sorry.
best one so far.
Let's go get that put in the
Oh,
trash
I
can.
have to give it away. Oh, I have to throw it away.
yeah, please.
So there you go, Ian learning a little bit about self-control. And now that we've seen the adventures of Joy and Ian, we are going to go ahead and have a very quick Bible story here today. And our Bible story tonight is going to be a story about Jesus, directly about Jesus. And, we need to remember that Jesus isn't just someone that we read about and learn about. It's someone that we're supposed to model our own lives after. He was an example for us. And so Jesus was a great example of what it's like to have self-control. And so our story today is going to be about a time when God's Spirit led Jesus into the desert. And for 40 days, Jesus spent time with God, just him and God the Father, out in the desert. And at that same time, God's enemy, the devil, tempted Jesus. And Jesus, at this time, ate nothing for 40 days. He just focused on spending time with God. And at the end of that time, he was very hungry, as you can imagine. And so we can read about what the devil said to Jesus in Luke chapter 4, verse 3. The devil said to him, "If you are the Son of God, tell this stone to become bread." And the devil wanted Jesus to doubt God's plan for his life and instead take control for himself. Jesus was capable of doing incredible miracles, but he was also supposed to trust God. And so Jesus went back to what God had shared through Scripture. And we can read that in the next verse, Luke 4:4. Jesus answered, "It is written, man does not live on bread alone." And the devil then whisked Jesus up to a very high place, to like a mountaintop. And the devil showed Jesus all the kingdoms of the world. And we can read about that in Luke 6 and 7. And he said to him, "I will give you all their authority and splendor, for it has been given to me, and I can give it to anyone I want to. So if you worship me, it will all be yours." And once again, the devil tried to tempt Jesus to bypass God's plan. And the devil wanted Jesus to worship him. Again, Jesus called on the words of Scripture. In verse 8 said, "It is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only." And the devil then took Jesus to the very highest point in God's temple in Jerusalem. The devil taunted Jesus by quoting Scripture himself. In Luke 4, verse 9 and 10, he said, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down from here. For it is written, he will command his angels concerning you to guard you carefully. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone." The devil was trying to get Jesus to throw himself down from the temple because, according to Scripture, God would keep him safe. And Jesus knew that he didn't need to do anything to prove that he was God's son. So once again, Jesus responded with Scripture. In verse 12, Jesus answered, "It says, do not put the Lord your God to the test." The devil left Jesus until he could find a better time to test him. And God sent angels to take care of Jesus, and Jesus was ready to face all of the devil's temptations. He was ready because he knew God and he knew the truth of Scripture. He was able to stay in control and resist what the devil tried to get him to do. And God can help us resist temptation as well. And that's why our bottom line today is be ready to do the right thing. If we want to be ready, we need to spend time getting to know God and getting to know his word. And then we'll be able to remember what's true in any situation. That's it for this week, guys. I hope to see you next week, and hopefully we'll be back in person as well. Have a good night.